friends, Tiffany here from Crafting for Them, and I am here documenting my week 3 of my 2021 Project Life album. So I have already created this page because as I'm moving along with these videos, I can see that it's a lot smoother process if I create them in advance and then recreate them on screen for you. So we are going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to open up my collage page, and the first thing I always do is place my Title Week card. I am using Wilson Wilson Yearbook Collection for my Title Weeks, and you're going to notice I get a low resolution error, and that's because the cards that I use are meant to be a 3x4, and I put them in a 4x6 slot. Don't have any concerns about that. I have printed these and not had any issues at all. Then after I place my card, I go ahead and place my normal photos. Those photos for this week are an image of Lee Corso wearing a Buckeye head, a picture of my daughter and a friend, and I'm also going to place a picture of my son at baseball practice. For my formula, or what I do most often, is 3 4x6 photos, 2 3x4 photos, and then 2 journaling cards. Sometimes I mess with it a little bit, but on weeks when I just want to get it done, this is the easiest thing that works for me. So you'll notice that quite frequently throughout all of my albums. For my 3x4 photos, I am using this super cute picture of my puppy cuddling with me. And I'm also going to use this really funny picture of my husband in Christmas pajamas using virtual reality. And it was even funnier in person than it is in this photo. Okay, so now that I kind of have an idea of what pictures I'm going to use, I am going to go ahead and add the white borders around these photos. I am using the same technique that I used in my week 1 video, so if you have not watched my week 1 video, I highly recommend going back and seeing how I add these white borders. If you're familiar with the Project Life app, basically what I'm doing is, I'll go ahead and show you here, adding a photo in a large 12x12 slot, and we'll use this picture I just took of myself. Okay, and then I'm going to export that as a 12x12. Yes, I want to export it, and what this is going to do is everything around my image is going to be white space. So that gives me the flexibility to add a border any size I'd like. It can be small or large. It could have room for writing and text, or it could just be left white. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with this layout because I've already went through the process with all of those images. Okay, so when I place these, I'm just going to go ahead and place them very quickly. I end up really liking it with the white space around the 3x4s also. I do not always put the borders around all the pictures, but this particular layout has a lot of really busy photos, and for me, having the white space around them really helps minimize the difference in colors and textures and things like that. So now I just go in and size it. And I'll probably adjust these a bit as we go along, but you'll get the idea of what I'm doing here. Now, this photo, sometimes I'm finicky about this and sometimes I'm not, but I like to have the photos line up down the page, so all of these would be in line, or at least as close as I can get them. So that's kind of what I'm doing now. Again, if you like there is a smaller 3x4 overlay in the Project Life app that does like a really thin white line. I use that as well. Just depends on what we're going for that week. And it really, really depends on my photos. Again, this is a week that has some really busy pictures, so I like all the additional white space. Okay, so now that we have all of the pictures placed about where I want them, I'm going to go ahead and place my journaling cards. All right, I have all of my journaling cards placed, and I'm going to go ahead and let's see here if it, place my journaling. What I do for journaling is type it into an email and email it to myself on my iPad. And what that does is allows me to have spell check. It also allows me to not have to worry about the free-form text and it not wrapping. 9 times out of 10, I do use an outside journaling card. Having that flexibility is great. Now, for this specific week, I don't know why I have some issues here with my text. Okay, so we're just going to leave it like that. I'm actually going to remove the bullets and center justify it. And then on this card, H is for, and the word I'm typing is hilarious. I'm actually going to do that all in caps here. And there we have it. That is the left side of my week 3 layout. Okay, for the right page, I am covering a weekend hockey tournament. My son is on a travel hockey team and we do a lot of regional travel. We've been to the city lots of times, so I don't have a ton of photos. Also, due to COVID, we haven't been able to do a lot of fun things outside the hotel room. So this is just a simple layout. I have already decided where everything was going to go to make this just a bit of a smoother process. I have also already added the white space around my photos, so I'm going to go ahead and place the photos exactly where I would like them to go. And there's no real rhyme or reason at this point. It's just a matter of placing the photos. Okay, so once I have everything placed, here you can see this image is just a little different than the other ones. This I used the Project Life Design D layout and put 2 3x4 horizontal photos in there and then exported it, which gave me this little collage. So I like to do that when I have 2 4x6 photos that maybe don't need an entire pocket full of attention, but I still want to include in the album. And then I rarely do this, but I'm going to put all of my 3x4s next to each other. Usually I do an image, a journaling card, and an image, but this particular layout has a few more pictures, so this is what I've come up with. Now you can see these are not perfect. Again, if you haven't watched my other videos, if you are an exact science person and need everything to be perfect on your pages, this is not the technique for you because there's no real way to quantify exactly what you're doing. Okay, so then I'm gonna make these a little larger. I know on the left page I made sure those all lined up, but I like the white space on this page a little more. So they're not gonna line up. And I am perfectly okay with that. You have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with what works on your pages. If you tend to be a lot pickier about those kinds of things, then I would probably suggest finding either an overlay in the app that you like, or going the digital route with a Photoshop Elements or Affinity if you need an app, or Over if you need an app. But for me, I like the ease of use and the flexibility that I can come up with in the Project Life app. So I just deal with those minor imperfections. Okay, so I am placing my journaling cards that I'm going to use. And a technique that I've just recently figured out that I love, and you'll see these images shared coming up within the next couple of weeks of some items that I've created. I just used this kit, so I'm not sure why it's downloading. It's just a really basic title card where I do freeform text, so I'm going to add it in the middle, and then I do caps lock and I do a space between every capital letter. Just gives it a little bit of a different vibe than the regular all caps. And then I'm just going to write hockey tournament. So I recently documented a trip to Virginia and Washington, D.C., and I used that as a title card on nearly every page I did throughout the album, so it's kind of coherent. Okay, and then as far as my journaling goes, I did type it in my email, and I'll paste it here. I always use this really dark charcoal gray, not the lighter gray, not black, but that's what I've found that I like for my journaling. And then this particular page I usually like my font to be between a 9 and a 10 on a 12 by 12 page, but this is only 8.4 because I have extra journaling, and that's okay. As long as it's able to be read on the page, I'm fine with that. This, I know because I'm printing this out as a 12 by 12, I won't have any issues, but if you go too much smaller, it may be a little difficult to read in your layouts. So you just want to be mindful of fonts. This is my right page of my week 3 layout. I thought I was going to have an insert this week, but I just didn't take very many photos on this hockey tournament, so that's okay. So this is my week 3 2021 layout. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. I have shared information for all of the cards that I've used. They're all from wilsonwilson.org. I am a brand ambassador for Sally and Wilson Wilson, but I was a user of the products before I was a brand ambassador. I absolutely adore them. So if you like the clean, minimalist, white space look, I highly recommend you check out Sally at wilsonwilson.org. I will see you all soon with week 4.